Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome to my Astro community. And in today's video, I'm going to tell you guys how to get your crush to like you. Feel free to try this advice on Sun, Moon, Rising, or Venus and Mars signs. Okay, so let's talk about how to get Aries to like you. So when it comes to seducing an Aries, the ultimate thing you have to do is be the chase. When it comes to Aries, we really have to think about how they operate. Aries are the type to be very competitive. They want to win things. They want to be the best at things. And Aries have kind of like a thrill-seeking kind of vibe to them. So when it comes to dating, be that person they can't have. And this is especially advice for like girls who want like an Aries guy. Just be the chase. Be something he can't really have, because he's gonna try so hard to win you over. It's gonna be so exciting for him because that's what he wants to do. Aries want to chase you. If you're like too clingy or you're like chasing them, like they probably don't really want you like that. So if you want them to want you, always be chased. Always be the one that's being chased. Kind of play hard to get. Don't be too easy. Kind of like challenge them, to be honest. If you literally contradict an Aries or challenge them in any way, I feel like that's going to make them want you more. Because like I said, they like a challenge. They like a chase. They want to win things. And they are very competitive too. So they're willing to win you over if you play that cat and mouse game with them. Also, they do like people that are bold and fearless. They might like you if you're shy, but honestly, I feel like they have a certain type of like respect and a certain kind of, I don't know, it's almost like they love a girl, especially who is bold and fearless, and they can chase after her. They love a girl that kind of is confident in themselves, because oftentimes Aries are very confident in themselves and they're very bold and fearless themselves. So I feel like they want that same kind of energy in their partner. And low-key, another tip I have for you guys is to kind of be mean to them. Like I said, contradict them, challenge them. Not in like an aggressive way, but sort of maybe like in a playful way. Like if he asks you to do something, kind of like maybe like challenge him and be like, oh, well, you have to do this for me first. Or if he asks you to go like on some sort of date, be like, oh, well, you have to take me here first. Like kind of be that kind of pushback with him. Don't give it to him too easily. Give him that pushback, give him that challenge, because he kind of likes that. And like I said, he kind of likes when you're mean to him. So be mean to him, not like super rude, but sort of sassy. I feel like Aries like that, where it's like you're kind of sassy with them, because it kind of increases the chase. Okay, so let's talk about how to get a Taurus to like you. Now, when it comes to seducing a Taurus, and this advice is especially for my ladies watching this, it is important to really smell good. And if we think about Taurus in general, they're very much attuned to the five senses. They're very much in tune with like indulgence, right? So they love things that smell good, things that taste good. So when it comes to attracting a Taurus, when it comes to seducing them, smell really nice, look really beautiful. I feel like Taurus men especially love like beautiful women. They love women that look very classy, very maybe even traditional. Like if you had your hair done really nicely, or you had really nice makeup, or you just look really feminine. I feel like that's a great way to pull a Taurus in. Also, if you, like I said, smell good, if you dress nicely, and overall if you look really nice and pretty and feminine, you'll just pull them in very effortlessly. And honestly, if you have a really nice perfume on, oh my god, they're just gonna come running to you, because Taurus really love things that smell good. Another tip when seducing a Taurus is to not rush them. Taurus are the type to really take their time. Don't be too like fidgety and trying to rush them and trying to boss them around. I feel like Taurus are really going to take their time with you. They're going to court you accordingly. I feel like they take a lot of time in the courtship phase of relationships. They take a lot of time with romance. So just, you know, enjoy it. Just be very calm and not too jittery and trying to rush things too much. Also, if you're trying to seduce a Taurus, offer them food. That's like one of the main things with Taurus, is like offer them food, but not just any food, something like that's like their favorite food, or their favorite restaurant, or their favorite dish, anything involving one of their favorite foods or drinks or things like that. They're really gonna, you know, be attracted to you because of that. And overall with Taurus, like I said, they love luxury, they love opulence, they love elegance, they love being pleased when it comes to like their five senses. So really keep that in mind if you're trying to lure one in. Like they like really nice restaurants, they like like I said, people that smell good. They like things that look good. Maybe they might be a bit materialistic too. They like designer things. So keep that in mind with Taurus. Like there's this main theme of materialism and just smelling good, looking good. And of course their soft spot is food. Another thing with Taurus is to be reliable. They're not with the whole like ghosting thing. So if you want to like lure them in, don't be someone that is kind of unreliable or like not dependable, because I feel like they're just gonna like back away from you. They want to invest their time in someone they can take their time with, take their time getting to know. So don't try to do that hot and cold game with them, because I feel like they're just gonna be like, okay, next. Some signs that does work on, but Taurus, I don't think it works on that well. Okay, so let's talk about how to attract a Gemini. Okay, so of course the #1 way to seduce or attract a Gemini is through their mind. So I've mentioned this before, but Geminis are very intellectual based signs. They're not terribly physical, they're not terribly emotional, depending on their whole chart. But with Geminis, the main like trait they have is that they're very into intellectual stimulation. So if you're trying to attract one or seduce them, you have to be somewhat interesting, be intelligent, know what you're talking about. Like you don't have to be like a know-it-all. I feel like that would maybe turn them off, but be someone that is interesting to talk to. Don't be boring, because I feel like Geminis get bored very easily. So if you can like be intellectually stimulating for them, even if you're not really saying anything too deep, I feel like they're gonna really be attracted to you, because they're like, wow, I can talk to them forever. They're really interesting, they're not boring. And another thing too is Geminis are very intelligent. So, and the key thing about Geminis, I will say, is that they know a lot about a lot of different things, and usually they have like expertise in one topic. So if you can learn about the topic they have expertise in, it would be really beneficial to ask them about that topic, especially if they're like, let's say they're really into, I don't know, maybe they know a lot about like computers or something, like they're an engineer. Even if you don't really care about that stuff, ask them about it. Be like, oh, tell me more about that. This especially applies to like ladies, you know, trying to attract a Gemini man. But if you're a lady watching this, just ask them about their field of expertise. And then obviously there's this theme of intellect going on. So Geminis do play mental games, but if you can kind of handle that, if you can hang with them because of that, they definitely might be more attracted to you. They need someone that is as smart as them, or, you know, can keep up with their intellect. So if you really want to attract them or seduce them, it's favorable to be a little bit witty. Say kind of smart remarks, be kind of mean on the low. Well, not mean, but sort of like those smart, sassy remarks on the low. Be sort of witty. If they say something to you, you have like a clap back, but I mean not like a serious clap back like you're trying to fight with them, but like a cute little feminine clap back. Okay, so let's talk about how to attract a Cancer. So in order to seduce a Cancer or get a Cancer to like you, you do have to show your sensitive side. When it comes to Cancers, they're very apprehensive people. They can be very cautious, especially when it comes to love. They guard their heart pretty well. So because they're so naturally guarded, they're really sensitive on the inside. So in order to kind of put their guard down, you kind of have to be sensitive yourself, be more soft, don't be too aggressive with them. I feel like it's favorable to make them feel safe or comfortable. If they feel safe with you, then they will let their guard down. So make them feel safe, maybe with your words, or maybe the dates you go on. Just kind of make them feel like they can be themselves. Make it seem like, okay, this is a safe place for you to let your guard down. And for my ladies watching this, it might be kind of hard to attract a Cancer man because they can be quite shy. Like I said, they are very guarded, especially. So it's kind of, I feel like they won't make the first move on you, but they might really like you, but they just might not make the first move. So in order to attract them without being too aggressive towards them, I feel like you can, like, I don't know, play some sort of damsel in distress, or like ask their help for something, or kind of be sensitive, be kind of girly. And I feel like they'll be more inclined to approach you because you seem so sensitive, you seem so approachable, you seem so receptive. I think that's the key thing. If you're a girl especially, like, be very receptive to them, and don't be too aggressive or too cold, because they're not going to approach you. And honestly, in a worst case scenario, I guess you can approach them, but like I said, don't approach them aggressively. Approach them with like a question, like ask them for help, or I don't know, ask them about something they're wearing, but don't be too obvious. Also, I feel like with Cancers and attracting a Cancer, it's important to kind of be like that wholesome vibe. Like, you have to be someone that is very kind, be someone that is very genuine, and be someone that I feel like I said, this key theme of being receptive is present when attracting a Cancer. So just be very receptive to things and be very sensitive, like seem very sensitive and kind, and show that side of you more if you want a Cancer to like you. And then in terms of activities and dates and stuff, I feel like Cancers really like nostalgic things. They are homebodies too, so keep that in mind when you want to hang out with them. They most likely want to go to places that they've already been, or they want to do things that they've already done. And another main thing when attracting a Cancer is that they really love familiarity. Like, overall, Cancers are very nostalgic. They love staying at home. They love their families. So if you remind them of their childhood, or remind them of their mom, or remind them of something that they have a very sentimental bond with, then they will just automatically fall in love with you. Okay, so let's talk about how to attract a Leo. So when it comes to attracting a Leo, or seducing them, or making them like you, the number one thing is to stroke their ego. Now, of course, with Leos, they love to be praised. They love to be validated. So if you can do that with them, they definitely will like you. Make them feel like the star. Make them feel like they're really important. And this is especially for like ladies watching this, and maybe you want to attract a Leo man. Just stroke his ego. Compliment him on something. Especially like something creative that he does, that is like, maybe he does like a creative project. Maybe he has like a creative hobby that he talks about with you. Validate that, praise that, encourage that about him. And another thing too is Leos love luxury. So when it comes to enticing a Leo or seducing them, they want the finer things. They want romance, they want opulence, they want elegance, you know? So I feel like they're not going to be impressed with little, like, you know, half thought out things or half thought out gifts. That's another thing too, they love gifts. So if you bring them gifts, or treat them to like luxurious things like spas or 5-star restaurants, they'll definitely more so like you, because overall I feel like Leos want to feel spoiled. So if you can spoil them somehow, obviously not too much, I feel like this can be done on a very subtle level where you're like complimenting them and affirming them and validating them, and then, you know, there's this element of luxury and romance going on. That's like the formula to pull in a Leo. And then another thing too is just to be honest and sincere. I feel like Leos themselves are very honest and sincere, and they really respect someone and appreciate someone that can be honest and sincere with them. So I mean, when you're giving them compliments and stuff, don't like force it too much. Just honestly, if you admire them, give them a compliment about something, or find something you admire about them and then compliment them on that. And once they see if you're sincere and you're complimenting them, then you have them. And then last but not least, this is a little tip for like ladies watching this and you want a Leo man. I feel like Leo men kind of like it when you're sort of mean to them. Not like super mean, or I mean rude, but I feel like if you're just a little bit mean to them, it's like they want you even more. So even though I said it's good to like compliment them and affirm them, all that stuff, but don't overdo it. Be mean at the same time, or like kind of be mean at certain times, kind of strategically, and then compliment them at the right time. So it's like a little bit of a fickle game with them, but don't be too nice to them if it's a Leo guy you're after. Okay, so let's talk about how to attract a Virgo. So when it comes to getting a Virgo to like you or seducing a Virgo, it's really important to establish a mental connection with them. With Virgos, they can be very picky, very fickle, and I feel like the best way to actually kind of attract one is to develop some sort of intellectual bond with them. Naturally, Virgos are very intelligent and they know a lot about a lot of different things. So if you ask them about what they know, or I feel like a great way to attract them is to ask them for help with something. Like even if you know how to do something, or if you do or you don't, doesn't matter, still ask for their help. Like, for example, you can ask them, okay, help me set up my iPhone I just bought, or help me set up my laptop, or how do you do dark mode on Twitter, or things like that that are like very useful. Ask a Virgo to do, and I feel like it helps build that bond. Also, I feel like when attracting a Virgo, it's important to have interesting conversation, and really important to listen to them too. Like I said, they have a lot to say. Honestly, Virgos can seem kind of shy, and some of them don't talk as much, but if you are having a conversation with them, encourage their ideas, encourage them to talk. And I feel like it's favorable too to affirm their ideas or affirm what they're saying and kind of make them feel really smart and helpful and useful. Because overall, I feel like Virgos, especially if it's like a Virgo guy, they want to feel useful. They want to feel like they're helping you. That's another thing too. I feel like Virgos, they like people who might need their help in some way, in life in general, I guess. So I guess that's the main like angle when it comes to attracting one, is to make them feel like they're helping you in some way. And then also physically, I feel like Virgo men like women who look very polished or almost very perfect. They like women who might have like a really cute hairstyle or their makeup's on point or things like that. Virgo men are unique because they can actually see the little details about you. So most men will just see a girl and be like, oh yeah, she has makeup on, I don't know anything about that. But some Virgo men I feel like will be like, oh yeah, they can clock your contour, clock your lashes. So I feel like physically they like a very polished woman, and then also when it comes to attracting them, just always need their help for some reason. And I feel like you'll definitely lure them in that way, and then be interesting in conversation as well and really listen to their ideas. Okay, so let's talk about how to attract a Libra. So when it comes to getting a Libra to like you or seducing a Libra, the main tip I would give is to make them chase you. And what I mean by this is that Libras are so charming. Libras can charm anyone. Honestly, Libras can pretty much get anyone they want through charm alone, and they're very aware of this fact. So if they can charm anyone or get anyone they want from their charm and charisma, you have to be that one person who does not fall for it. And honestly, if you can manage to be the one person that doesn't fall for their charm right away, they're gonna like chase you so hard because they're gonna want to charm you. They're gonna want to try really hard to make you like them. And really, I think Libras respond well to that like hot and cold game. So especially if you're like a girl, be hot and cold with him. Like I said, Libra men especially are very charming. They can get any woman probably just because they're very slick with words or whatever. So be that one girl that doesn't fall for his game. Be that one girl that doesn't fall for whatever smooth talking he does. And kind of be that girl that's like, you know, maybe you're nice to him sometimes and then maybe you're mean to him. Like do that thing with him where it's like maybe you're sometimes kind of sassy, sometimes you're kind. Obviously you can be a very kind person, but don't be too nice, because then he's just gonna ghost you. You kind of have to be a little bit mean just so he keeps chasing you. And then also with Libras, I feel like this is very similar to Taurus, where it's like they love luxury, they love materialism. I feel like they love specifically like aesthetics, so they love doing things that are very romantic, things that look very good. I feel like a Libra will probably take you on a date that is like to some restaurant that has like a nice view, or some place that is really aesthetically pleasing. And overall, I feel like Libras love people that look really good. So if you're dressed really nice, you smell nice, you look really girly. This is especially for ladies watching this. Like if you have your hair done and your makeup looks nice, you probably attract a lot of Libra men because they are very attracted to beautiful women. Okay, so let's talk about how to attract a Scorpio. So when it comes to getting a Scorpio to like you or seducing a Scorpio, I'm not gonna lie, it can be kind of challenging. Because when it comes to Scorpio, I feel like they're hard to read. Obviously a lot of other signs, it's kind of obvious if they're feeling you or not, but Scorpio is a little bit different because you can't really tell right away, and they're good at kind of masking their emotions or intentions. But I think a favorable way to attract a Scorpio or seduce them is to be kind of mysterious. Be sort of challenging almost. Like if you even get the hint that a Scorpio is feeling you, don't try to chase them, don't try to do too much. I feel like the best way to seduce them is to be calm and just be kind of mysterious. Be sort of unpredictable. I feel like Scorpios are good at really like kind of studying people and observing you if they're trying to pursue you. So be kind of like that mystery. Be that person or that girl that they don't really know, they can't really figure out, and they're going to be more inclined to pursue you. And also you can be sexy as well. Overall, I think what seduces Scorpio is just a sense of like almost I think of like Taurus energy that's very like sensual, very grounded. So if you can embody that sort of sensual energy, especially if you're already like a Taurus or Taurus rising, then it's probably easier for you to attract a Scorpio, because I feel like they're very attracted to that sensual, grounded, maybe even sexual energy. Also, when attracting a Scorpio, I feel like it's important to not be fake or pretend or lie to them, because Scorpios are great at seeing through people and seeing through people's facades. So kind of just like be who you are, like still be mysterious, but don't be fake about it. Like don't be fake mysterious. I feel like they're gonna see through that and just be like, okay, I don't like them anymore. Be mysterious, but still be very genuine and not too fake with them. And then lastly, side note, I think a way to seduce them like verbally is to kind of invite them into some sort of drama, or invite them into some sort of like secret or chaos. Like if you like say something like, oh, I have a secret to tell you, I feel like they're definitely gonna be like, oh yeah, I like them, or be more pulled in by you. Like if you always have some sort of secret to tell them, or you tell them things you don't tell other people, or if there's like some sort of subtle drama that you want their advice on, I feel like they're very much inclined to be attracted to you because of that. But it doesn't have to be like super serious. It doesn't have to be like some super serious secret or drama. It could be something kind of exaggerated, like, oh, let me tell you a secret. My socks aren't matching, or something like that. I know that's kind of silly, but if it's something simple like that, I feel like they're excited by the concept of like a secret or secrecy. So if you could pull them in that way, I feel like they'll be more inclined to be attracted to you. Okay, so let's talk about how to attract a Sagittarius. So when it comes to getting a Sagittarius to like you, or seducing a Sagittarius, is to literally be unattainable. When it comes to Sagittarius, they're definitely the type that like to push their limits. They like to conquer things. They like to win things. And I definitely feel like out of all the signs, Sagittarius definitely like a chase. So if you want one to like you, I feel like you have to be sort of like something they can't really have. I feel like they'll definitely want to have you if there's something you can't have. And really challenge them that way. Like almost curve them, like borderline curve them, or even literally curve them, and I feel like they're just going to chase you harder. And then another thing too with attracting a Sagittarius is that you have to be fun, be spontaneous, be adventurous, because that's how they are themselves. They see things as an adventure. They see things as an experience. So be an experience for them. Be something that's adventurous. If they see you and they perceive you as somebody that likes to have fun and be adventurous, and you're unattainable on top of all of that, they're definitely going to want you that much more. And then another thing too, with this kind of like adventurous theme, I feel like it's good to kind of be interesting when you talk to them. I feel like they like to have really good conversations. Sagittarius are very like philosophical and very intelligent too, so they want someone that is intelligent, that can carry a great conversation with them. And then also on that same note, I feel like it's important to not be boring. I feel like they don't like boring things at all. Like I said, they love spontaneity, they love adventure. So be someone that's exciting when you're talking to them. Be sort of energetic, smile a lot. I mean, you don't have to overdo it, but like don't be too like dry or boring, or someone that can't hold a conversation with them. And they really love fascinating people. So if you have like a fascinating fact about yourself, or fascinating detail, like if you speak another language, or you've traveled to a certain place, or if you traveled to a certain place, maybe talk about that. It's super interesting to them. I feel like Sagittarius themselves like to travel, so you guys can exchange travel stories that will definitely bond you closer to that Sagittarius you want. So the main things for Sagittarius, I would say, is to be unattainable, be fun, be adventurous, be spontaneous, be interesting to talk to, don't be boring, and be able to hold a conversation with them. Okay, so let's talk about how to attract a Capricorn. So when it comes to getting a Capricorn to like you, or seducing a Capricorn, that the main thing is that with Capricorns, they can be very serious, they can be very melancholy. A lot of them can be sort of like workaholics. So when it comes to getting them to like you, or pulling them in somehow, you have to be like that emotional happiness for them. Like be someone that can kind of relieve their stress. I feel like Capricorns can honestly feel stressed a lot of the time, or stress themselves out. And if you can like relieve that for them and uplift them somehow emotionally, or kind of cheer them up, it's not like they're sad or anything, but they can be very serious and very grounded. So if you can be a little bit more peppy or uplifting towards them, I feel like that will pull them in closer to you. And then also another thing with Capricorn is that it's important to be very honest and sincere. Capricorns are so excellent at reading people. They can see through people quite well, and they can really perceive if you're being dishonest or being fake, and they don't like that when people are like that with them. So it's important to be very honest and sincere with them, and don't lie to them, because they're probably just going to know. Because honestly, Capricorns are really intuitive. So don't be fake, be really honest, sincere, and be yourself with them. And they'll really respect you if you're being sincere. And that brings me to my next point, which is really important, is that Capricorns are big on respect. So if they respect you, then they probably will like you and really date you. And the way you get them to respect you is, for example, be invested in something that you really care about. Like, let's say you're very much invested in maybe some sort of community organization, you're invested in some sort of cause, you're invested in building your business. If you're invested in something and have goals, you will really bring a Capricorn in, because they want someone they can feel inspired by. They want someone that can be competent. They don't like people who are incompetent. They don't respect people that they think are incompetent or just lazy. They really respect people that invest their time into meaningful things they're passionate about. And overall, like I said, they really like to be inspired by people. And if they're inspired by you, they will respect you. And if they respect you, then they most likely would date you and they like you. And overall with Capricorns, regardless of their age, I feel like they're very mature, very stable. So they want someone that is reliable. I feel like if a Capricorn sees you as someone that's unstable, or if you're like a liability to them, I feel like they wouldn't really like you. Like, be someone that seems kind of dependable. Be someone that has their stuff together. I feel like Capricorns really like someone like that, because they don't see you as a risk. Another way to get them to like you is to ask their advice on something. They're great at giving advice. They love giving advice. So if you can just ask them about something you need advice on, whether it be serious or maybe not that serious, I feel like they like it when you ask them. So ask them about advice often. And then lastly, especially for ladies, when it comes to looks, I feel like Capricorn men like a woman that looks like a wife, or like a woman that looks very traditional, or a woman that can be a mother. Like I said, Capricorns are very traditional, very mature. So if you can kind of fit that wifey type of archetype, I feel like they'll like you even more. Okay, so let's talk about how to attract an Aquarius. So when it comes to getting Aquarius to like you or seducing them, the main thing you want to do is be intriguing. And honestly, we all know Aquarius have that stereotype attached to them where it's like they're the unique ones. And I feel like they like that in a partner too. When it comes to attracting an Aquarius, be someone that's kind of, out of the norm. Be someone that is unique. You don't have to change yourself, but honestly, if you just exaggerate your unique qualities, I feel like they'll be more attracted to you. And with Aquarius, they have very scientific minds. They have very observant minds. They love figuring things out. So be a puzzle. Be someone that's not super obvious, or be someone they can't really figure out that much. If you're unique and intriguing and you're a puzzle at the same time, you're just going to attract an Aquarius so well, because it's like you're not the norm. You're not the mainstream. You're something that is unconventional. You're something that they haven't really seen before. Automatically, they want to figure you out and get to know you even more. And then another tip I have for you guys, and I feel like this is a tip a lot of people don't know about, but Aquarius low-key are a little bit rebellious. So because of this low-key or high-key rebellious streak they have, I feel like when it comes to attracting them, do something or ask them to do something sort of rebellious. It doesn't have to be super crazy or drastic, but if you kind of suggest doing something that you aren't supposed to, or do something that is sort of rebellious, or do something rebellious yourself and they notice you doing it, then they'll kind of be attracted to that. Like I said, they kind of have this rebellious streak. They have this streak where it's like they want to kind of reject the norm or rebel against the norm. So if you do that too, they'll be very attracted to you. And then also, I mentioned earlier, they have a very scientific mind, and literally they might be in the scientific fields themselves. But I feel like if you want to attract them in a very simple way, or in a flirting type of way, ask their help on some sort of scientific project. Like, say something like, oh, I'm doing research for this thing, even if you're not. I'm doing research for this thing, help me with this, or how do you do this? Because they're very research oriented. They're very they have that scientific, skeptical, research type of mind. So if you ask them something about that or something about like psychology, I feel like they're very intrigued to talk to you then. If you can get a really good like intellectual conversation going with them, I feel like they'll be very attracted to you. And then also another tip too, I feel like they like a sense of dysfunction, not like intentionally. I feel like they kind of have that fixation type of mind. Like I said, they have a scientific mind. So if you have like a problem or you bring some sort of dysfunction or something like that to them, I feel like they naturally want to fix it for you. And Aquarius honestly have very good intuition. And I feel like if you're not being trustworthy or honest with them, they'll know right away. So be honest with them, don't lie to them, and just be yourself too. I think they just like people that are themselves, to be honest. And then last but not least, they're definitely the type where it's like they don't want someone super clingy. If you are the person that isn't clingy first, I feel like they'll more likely be wanting to cling to you, if that makes sense. So be kind of detached with them. Be kind of like separated with them at first. Don't be trying to pursue them or be too aggressive towards them. Kind of do your own thing in the corner. And I feel like they'll just be so attracted to that because it's like you're not even paying attention to them. So they're attracted to someone who is kind of detached from them in a sense. Okay, so let's talk about how to attract a Pisces. So when it comes to getting a Pisces to like you or seducing a Pisces, you have to be the fantasy. And I think the biggest theme with Pisces is that they like to escape into things. They like to escape through their art, through spirituality. They like to be very in tune with like those kind of areas of life. So when it comes to pulling one in, kind of embody that in a sense. Like when it comes to pulling them in, I feel like you have to be sort of like that dream archetype. Like something about you has to seem a little bit glamorous or something they haven't really seen before. I feel like Pisces are definitely attracted to that, where it's like, wow, I've never seen a girl like that anywhere around here. I've never seen someone like that before. And I feel like they'll just be attracted to you off the strength of that. And also, as I mentioned, if you want to attract them, kind of bring up those topics that I feel like Pisces are very inclined to be interested in. So like spirituality, if you bring up the topic of like soulmates or bring up the topic of like tarot or astrology, anything like that that is sort of like spiritual, I feel like they're very much inclined to talk about, because I feel like they like talking about those topics. So if you can, spark a conversation about that topic, then I feel like they're so interested in it. And be someone that can just feel like an escape to them. And I feel like the way you do that is maybe through romance. Like if you're talking to them or on a date with them, I don't know, just be very lighthearted, be very romantic, paint a picture of something, not literally, but like paint a picture of like be very descriptive with your words or very flowery with your movements, and just be kind of like this almost energetic fantasy for them, where they are very much paying attention to you because you're kind of creating this kind of dream with what you're saying. And then also encourage them to talk about their creative ideas. If you want to pull them in, kind of affirm their creative ideas, talk about larger concepts. I feel like they don't want to talk about super silly things. I feel like Pisces want to talk about super deep things. So if you can get to that level of like intimate discussions or broader topics about the universe, things like that, I feel like they're very attracted to you, because they honestly, I feel like they won't find a lot of people like that are interested in those things. So if you want to tap into that romantic level with them, you have to start talking about those topics that are not usual topics. I feel like they want to talk about more unconventional things, like I said, like spirituality, the universe, and things like that. So comment down below your top tips on how to attract each zodiac sign. Like this video, subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you guys in my next video.